Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina. And Ron and I are the co-founders of the Bridge Project and the co-creators of TYRO.
TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new. Wait
Ready?
for it.
A
warrior. Woo!
Heck yeah.
And what we get to do is empower families, empower men and women to really reach and build a legacy that will outlast them.
So what we're talking about fighting for are things that are worth fighting for. Fight for your legacy to become a leader in your home, your community, and your workplace. Fight for your children's legacy to lead them well. See, Ron and I learned the principles that we're sharing with you through our own personal journey. We did 15 years in prison. Ron did the time on the inside, while the boys and I did the time on the outside.
But we didn't let that knock us down. Oh,
Right.
it knocked us out. But it didn't keep us down because we were able to thrive and really come to a place of growth, of evolution, of really understanding what is our purpose in life. So we were able to take what should have been a mausoleum experience into a monastery experience. We were able to find out what is our purpose? Why are we here on earth? And how do we empower others, especially our children, so they will never experience generational cycles of poverty, generational cycles of the entitlement mentality, generational cycles of incarceration. The buck stops where? The buck stops here.
Right here. Because this became an event in our life instead of a lifestyle. And so all of the principles that we learned through our journey of those 15 years of incarceration through reentry are all encapsulated in our TYRO programs. And so today, as we are working with you and we're here sharing with you, we are going to impart unto you some of the lessons that we learned that we know will help you begin a transformational life.
So what do you got to do? What's your part? You got to go to work. You got to put these principles into action. That means right where you're at, Dad, right where you're at, you can become building a better life for you and your family, right where you're at. I know sometimes some of you might be saying, what can I learn in prison, man? There ain't nothing I can do. I'm living in such a controlled environment. What can I do? Well, that's what we're going to talk today about. What are you doing?
Because if we can do it, you can do it. And so today, as we talk about, we ask you the question, what are you doing? You know, we're really going to help take you on a journey to really understand what is it you're doing, why is it important, and how do you actually change what you're doing in order to change the outcome.
And this is going to take some work, right? So, without further ado, we're going to take this pause, and when we come back, we're going to dive deep into how to live life while you're incarcerated.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're asking the question, what are you doing? Ooh. What are you doing while you're incarcerated? What are you doing while you're living? What are you doing while you're in the day room? What are you doing, period, during this time in your life?
Because what you're doing says who you are. And so you might not really be connecting the dots between what you're doing and your destiny and your success or failure, but what you do every day builds the foundation to either support your failure, right? Because it means it's going to crumble, or to support your future legacy and your success. And so today what we're talking about is really taking a step back and saying, wow, what is it that I'm doing every day? How am I living my life? What are the choices and decisions I'm making, even in the small things, that's telling the world who I am? You
know, what are you doing when you're on your bunk? What are you doing when you're just daydreaming? What are you thinking about? What are you planning in your future? What are you doing that's going to make you successful when you leave that penitentiary? What are you doing right now? You know, we're saying it like it's easy, right? But you got to become conscious, because if you don't know why you're turning right, if you don't know why you're turning left, if you don't know why you're going forward, then you're not going to go where you want to go. You're going to go to a place you didn't know that you wanted to be, or somewhere where it's going to destroy what you're trying to build. Be conscious of every decision, every thought, every step you take. What are you doing that's going to set you up for success to be a husband, a father, an employee, an employer, or somebody when you re-enter society, somebody who's valued? Mm-hmm. You know, you're no longer a liability, but what are you doing that's going to create you to become an asset for your family, your community, and your state?
When you talk about being conscious and being awake, being mindful, say that. I am conscious, I am awake, I am mindful. Now, okay, so quit looking around to see who's watching you or who's listening to you repeat this. You know what? What you're doing is creating your legacy of success. You can't worry about people that are stuck in Lamesville. If you want something different, then you have to do something different, even if nobody else around you is. So being mindful of what you're doing means that you are doing things and you're living life intentionally. You see, before Ron went to prison, we were just kind of letting life happen to us. We were just making decisions that seemed right. We never really took the time to really think about where we were going, what our life really looked like. We just felt like, I don't know, it was like that was going to be forever.
So we were always living the check by check mentality.
Oh yeah, the
right?
minute by minute, right?
You know, so what we're talking about is the TYRO mindset. You know, what does your mindset look like? If somebody were to sit back and just watch how you're living and watch what you're doing, what would the story be said? What would the story be said about you? You know, why is this so important? We're going to get deep into that and how to implement, how to activate these principles in your life. We're going to talk about that. But you got to ask yourself, what are you doing? And you got to stop for a second, look at your life, analyze your actions, analyze your thoughts, and say, am I doing what is going to make me successful tomorrow? If what I'm doing doesn't say who I am, then I need to stop what I'm doing before it makes me who I don't want to be.
Right. And I remember my wake-up call. My wake-up call wasn't even the day Ron went to prison. Like, shock set in for me. But what really woke me up was the day that I had stood in line for hours and hours to get Christmas presents, that very first Christmas for my kids when Ron was in prison. I came home and I remember like standing there looking at stuff and thinking, you know, I got somebody else's castaways, somebody else that was like, you know what, I don't really want this anymore. I'll just put it in there for those poor kids, right? And I remember just looking at and thinking, oh my gosh, this is where I am. I have, through my own actions, through no fault of my children, I am creating this secondhand life for my kids. And the wake up was a shock, like somebody tossed cold water on my face. And I remember just like all of a sudden connecting all the dots of all of the actions or inactions that I had done in the 5 years since I had graduated from high school, and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm here because I failed to actually live purposely. What I was doing was just enjoying life in the moment, just like being tossed to and fro and letting life happen to me. And so what we're talking about today is really consciously, purposefully looking at your life and thinking, how did I get where I am?
So you got to look at, you know, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Or what did you do that got you in the place you're at right now? And that's a scary place to be, because now you got to be honest. You got to be truthful, not with anybody else around you. You got to come to a place in your own journey, gentlemen. Listen to me. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Where you can't care what anybody else thinks about you right now. You're in the joint, man. You're in the penitentiary. Yeah. And you got to be real with yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, what did I do that got me here in this place in my life? And what am I doing now that's gonna empower me to never have this experience again? I don't want this life that I'm living right now. If you're incarcerated, you got to say this. I don't want this life that I'm living right now to become a lifestyle.
Come on, be honest with yourself. Yes, we're talking to you. You. Not just everybody, you. You're stirred up. You feel like, wow, this isn't really what I want, but I don't know how to do something different. That you feel like your opportunities aren't very many, that you've blown everything, that you don't have a chance to reconnect with your kids, to do something different. Guess what? You do. This is an opportunity, a prime opportunity for you to take stock of your life, to look at what got you here, and to think about what do you want different. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back,
we're going to talk about why this is really important, dads. So hang on, get out that paper and pencil, write these notes down, because we promise you this will change your direction in your life.
We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about Mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And before we go any further, I just want to say, I have a Grandpa Love scratch on my face. For those of you who are looking deep and you're probably wondering, what does he got on his face?
Does he know he has something right here?
Actually, I have a scratch here that my grandson, who is 7 months old, was reaching for my glasses on my face, and he actually got a hold of some skin. I'm like, ow, what are you doing? And so this is a Love Grandpa scratch.
Yeah, and then he laughed so hard. He thought it was so funny that Grandpa said, ah!
So anyways, I just want to put that out there. Not that I'm self-conscious or anything.
Like location, location, location. We are so grateful when we think about the changes that we've been able to make that have allowed us to invest in our children, to invest in our grandchildren, to invest in our community, and to invest in the people's lives that are coming behind us. We are so passionate about helping you rebuild your life.
There is life after penitentiary. I can't, you know what? That's one of my coin of phrase. There's life after trauma.
Yes, and you know what? There's even life in the midst of penitentiary because we didn't wait until you got home to start rebuilding our family.
And that's what's exciting about today. What are you doing? Why is this so important that we're talking about this? Some of you might be saying, you know what? Of course, you don't even have to. Some things that are understood need not be explained. If that were true, the penitentiaries would be empty.
That's right.
Right? Yep. So we need to explain to you why this is so important. Of what you're doing right now is going to set you up for success or set you up for failure, and to repeat this penitentiary experience again.
Absolutely. So as you live your life, the choices you make every single day, as we talked about before, they're telling the world who you are. Now, why it's important to really take a step back and say, okay, what is it that I'm doing? Am I doing what is right and just in all things? And I want you to let that sink in for a minute, because it's easy to say, am I doing what is right and just in all things? It's like, it's easy for us to say, oh yeah, most of the time, and just ignore the places where we're not doing the right thing. But the truth is, if you really want to set a new precedent in your family for generations to come, you have to do what is right and just in everything. Everything. Especially the small things.
Everything that you do right now is setting you up to become a powerful individual or a lame. And this goes, you could take just an example.
I think even powerful or powerless.
Ooh, that's even best. I like that, even better. Powerful or powerless. Because I remember I got a ticket in prison. They wrote me up because I had contraband in my cell. In other words, I had stuff in my cell that didn't belong to me, right? And
I remember.
I was borrowing somebody's fan, right? And it was hot, so they let me borrow their fan. And they did they were coming through the units and doing a shakedown, and you guys know what I'm talking about. And they're doing title checks. They're looking for, make sure that TV's yours, make sure the remote control's yours. You know how it goes. So I was borrowing somebody's fan. He had an extra fan, and I'm borrowing it because it's hot and so forth. But guess what? I didn't have for it.
A title.
I didn't have a title, because guess what that is? Contraband. It's a violation. You can't borrow somebody's stuff and put it in yourself. So I got written up for it, and now I got a ticket. Now I'm going to have to go to the sergeant, and he's going to read me a ticket, and I'm going to get punished, right? I had to clean the walls or something. I can't remember what. But the point is, guess what? I was guilty of having contraband in my cell. I had something in my cell that belonged to me.
Now, is that a big thing? Like in the whole scope of everything in the world, having somebody else's fan in your cell on a hot day seems like such an insignificant small thing. But the important to note here, and this is something that Ron and I had to learn, is, the things that we were just saying, that's no big deal. It was hot. Of course it's okay. You know what? He had his fan. He let me borrow. But the truth is, when we take the importance of doing the right thing down to that level where we say, you know what? Everything counts.
Everything.
Everything. That helps us rebuild our reputation as people of integrity and honesty. You know, that's a hard thing to hear, because I remember just thinking, hey, why do all these little things, why is everybody so caught up about these little petty things? Like, this is crazy that they're really looking at these little things, even traffic tickets,
Come
right?
on.
And then it was like just this recognition that people of honor look to even the small things to apply their moral character.
So the saying is, when you are faithful in the little things, when you are faithful, this is why it's important, because you want great responsibility. Well, you got to be responsible for those things that are so minute in your life. This is when you do things that are just and right, win all the time.
And I hope this is irritating you. I hope this is making you uncomfortable, because as long as we're comfortable in doing the wrong things and the small things, we're going to keep doing that.
Oh, as long as we're comfortable doing the wrong things and the small things,
we're going to keep doing it.
that means if you take an apple from the cafeteria, listen to me, man. I know what I'm talking. I'm the guy that had chicken in the sock, right? I'm the guy that was bringing back an orange or something from the kitchen because I wanted something to eat at night. But I had to come to a place in my journey to say, wait a minute. If I can't be faithful with this little thing, all they're telling me is I can't take the food back.
Right. And if I have to look over my shoulder, and if I have to be concerned that somebody's going to find out and I'm going to somehow get in trouble for this, I need to not be doing it, because it's setting my reputation. When the world knows that you are a person that can be taken at your word, opportunities explode. The world is looking for somebody that's authentic, somebody that's mature, somebody that is trustworthy. And so if what you're doing is not saying those things, it's time to change what you're doing.
One more example is I remember driving a car. Now that we're home, right? And I'm driving a car and I had temporary tags on it. I just bought the vehicle and I had temporary tags, but I knew getting in there that day, the tag had expired.
The day before.
I knew that. I said, oh, you know what? I'll take care of it when I get back. I took off, drove to a town, got pulled over. Guess what I got?
A ticket.
I didn't get a traffic ticket. I got I don't know what they called it. It was a violation. And I mean, it was like a $160 violation.
Yeah.
It wasn't a speeding ticket, but a violation. But I wasn't guilty. I knew it. I said, man, I should have took care of that.
Yep. So when we come back, we're going to talk about how do you flip the script and begin to do the right thing all the time. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're asking the question, what am I doing? What am I doing that is setting me up for success?
Yes, what are you doing?
What are you doing? In fact, you can look at your life right now, and we're going to give you the how-to, but before we get into breaking it down, we want you to really stop what you're doing and just listen, because this is really crucial. Because what you're doing right now, and you might be saying, you know what, I'm doing everything I can. You don't know this world. You don't know what it means to survive in the penitentiary. You know what? Yes, we do.
Right.
Yes, we do. And
Absolutely.
we know exactly what it means to survive. I don't care if you're in California. I don't care if you're in Ohio. I don't care what prison you are. Guess what? These principles apply here in the U.S. and across the world. Integrity is everything.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And so as you might be thinking, you know what, I do the right thing. I lead classes, I attend, I've got all these certificates. Maybe you're even taking college classes, but there's that one area of your life where you are still doing things in the dark that you would be ashamed if it was exposed. That's what we're talking about. Doing the right thing in everything so that you're not afraid that somebody's going to open the closet door, that somebody's going to show up, that somehow that's going to be exposed, that part of you. You don't have to walk in fear anymore because you are who you say you are.
In other words, you can stand a shakedown.
Yes.
Right? Can you stand a shakedown? That's the question. Because out here in the real world, guess what? You get put over, and if your heart don't skip a beat, because why? You can stand a shakedown. That's called right living.
So that's the number one on how to do it. One is recognize. Recognize the areas in your life that you need improvement. Examine your heart, your motive. What are you doing that you think every time that you do it that there's that twinge of guilt or regret, and then you quick cover it up, you hide it, you push it aside, and you say, you know what, I'm okay. This is just one small thing. I'm not doing this, and you start listing all the things you're not doing in order to make yourself feel better about what you are doing.
Come on, we do that even out here.
Yeah, so stop it. So number one is really identify those things, examine your heart, your motive, recognize the places that you're struggling.
And number two is be determined. Come to a place in your journey to be resolute, that no matter what happens, you're gonna stay focused on this new you, on what you're doing to create success for not only yourself, but for your family. Be determined to not give up. Be determined to say, you know what, I'm gonna do whatever it takes.
Yep.
I'm gonna eat right, I'm gonna do right, I'm gonna live right, I'm gonna be just in all things.
So this is the decision-making point, right? Nobody else can make this decision for you. Your girl can say, man, stop gambling, stop with the pornography, stop with it, whatever it is, right? You fill in the blank. The COs, your friends, anybody else can tell you, but nobody can make that decision for you. You have to make the decision, you know what, enough is enough, I am done, I am finished.
Man.
So number three.
Live by your new code. Now, this takes a little bit of energy from you. Now we want you to write down a new code. You already know how you used to think and walk and talk with all your peers and everybody you associated with prior to this. Now, what are you doing now? You're gonna write a new code. This is how I wanna live. I wanna live with kindness.
That's really number two. When you make the decision, you're writing it down. And now, number three, you're living it out. So you're gonna live out your new code, the new decision that you made, the determination to do the right thing, you're now living it out. That takes practice.
And then number four, it takes practice. Practice makes what? Permanent. Not perfect. So you gotta practice this win all the time, because the true test is gonna be when you hit the streets.
Practice, and then
Practice. Oh man. And this is how we live out here. Each and every day we get up. Guess what? We're gonna face challenges. We're gonna face those triggers that might set us back. But we practiced already in our mind, in our heart. We have the motive. We're intent. We're gonna live right and just in all things. Right? Now we're not gonna let the little foxes come in and take us out, man. There's too much at stake, Dad. There's too much at stake for you and your family. They are counting on you to become that man of honor, that man of good character, that man worth following, that TYRO man.
in practice, think about when you begin to practice something. Do you get it right the very first time? No. And that's okay, because owning and recognizing, hey, you know what? I got to work harder at this. I got to work even harder. And that life is a continuous improvement plan. That lets your children understand and see that they're never stuck, that their life is never determined by their past mistakes, but instead, every day, they have an opportunity to do something right, to do something better. And so you're setting your children and your family up for success when you practice success.
So one of the outcomes that you're going to see is your friends that you have right now, they're either going to run with you,
right,
or they're going to run from you.
Right.
Right? But they're not going to, the ones that run from you, they were never your friends. They were never your cheerleaders. They were never champions in your life.
Right.
Because you're changing the course of your life. You're changing the way you think. You're changing the way you speak. And yes, your walk is now lining up with your thoughts. Ooh, listen to what I said. Your walk is lining up with the way you see your life, you see your future. And those around you, if they can see the vision that you're creating for yourself, they're gonna wanna be part of it. And if they don't wanna be part of it, you can't let them stop you from being who you are, man. A man of honor, a man of good character, a father worth following.
So as you begin this new journey, we talk about how it's really important to recognize that there are going to be people in your sphere of influence that when you start to do the right thing, it challenges them in the places they're doing the wrong thing. And so they are going to come at you. Man, what are you thinking? We know who you are. Why are you doing that? Who are you brown-nosing, right? What are you trying to prove? Don't listen to them. And you know what? That means it's time to disassociate until they figure out their own conscience and they work out their own way of recognizing the things they need to improve on. But don't let them become anchors around your neck.
So when we come back, we're going to wrap all this up, right? So don't go away. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today
we're talking about what are you doing?
What are you doing that's setting you up for success? What are you doing that's going to empower, not create powerlessness in others?
Right.
Ooh,
How
wow.
are you being powerful and taking charge of your life and planning out your own destiny? Of course, things are going to happen that you didn't expect. Of course, things outside of your control are going to happen. But when you exercise control over what is within your control, and that's how you react, you respond, what you do and say, then you can still direct the course of your future.
You know, one of the first things I had to come and deal with, even though I was innocent what I was convicted of, I had to quit blaming others. I had to quit blaming others of why I couldn't be taken at my word, why I couldn't hold a job down, why I could never have money in the bank, why I couldn't get a decent car, why I couldn't hold my family together, why I couldn't do, why? Boy, who says that? Why?
You do.
You know, and so I had to quit blaming others for my own failures, my own things, my own setbacks in my life, and then I had to start practicing a new way of thinking, a new way of living.
It doesn't matter what the challenge is, whether right now you're facing frustration and irritation over COVID and lockdowns, whether you're really, and I know it's impacting you to not see your family, whatever it is, you have to determine that you're going to do the right thing no matter what happens around you, no matter what privileges you might be restricted on, you still are responsible for you. And as you take charge of your life, you will find that you are setting an incredible precedent and a journey for your children.
The people around you will begin to take you at your word. It may not come easy. You may have to begin building a new reputation because maybe you were the guy that was always, maybe you've been extorting people. Maybe you're the gambler at the table. Maybe you're the storeman. I don't know what it is. Your hustle is in there. And maybe you've taken advantage of people that are even incarcerated. It's time to change your precedent. It's time to change the course of your life. If you haven't been doing the right thing, today's the day to begin. You know, make that conscious decision. You know what? I want to be taken at my word when I leave this place. I want people to be pleased with my lifestyle, not run from it because they're afraid I'm going to steal from them.
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you, doing the right thing is contagious. Once you start doing it, that self-fulfillment, that building of self-esteem, there's nothing that compares to it. So we want to thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey today.
So until next time, always remember that we are rooting for you.